Welcome to Marketing Strategies with Audrey Kirchner, sponsored by Inkyma, taking your small business to the next level with proven creative solutions designed to grow your awareness and connect to your customers. Now, here's Audrey.
Hi there, this is Audrey Kirchner. I'm the co-founder and chief marketing strategist here at Inkyma. And Inkyma is a full-service marketing agency. We bring that big agency feel, process, and customer service to small business owners. We do marketing strategy, we do branding, website design and hosting, content marketing, search engine optimization, social media, both organic and paid, and digital advertising. To learn more about what we do, ask us a question, schedule a marketing evaluation for your business, go to our website at inkyma.com. That's INKYMA.com. So we've been doing the show now for a little while. So if this is your first episode or podcast, welcome. I am so glad that you're here. But if you've been listening for a while and maybe you missed a couple of episodes, definitely go back and listen to previous shows. A lot of what I talk about each time is building on concepts that I've already spoken about. So you can listen to everything on the website. So you can listen to us on Podbean, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast. And if you have a preferred way of listening that maybe we're not on yet, send me a note and I will do my very best to get on where you like to listen to your podcasts. So this week, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics or favorite marketing tactics, if you will, and that's QR codes. And what I'm going to tell you about is how you can actually get more sales, regardless if you're a service-based company, if you're an e-commerce, if you're a brick and mortar store, if you're a B2B, you can get more sales with QR codes. So what's a QR code? Some of us know what they are. Some of us have probably seen them, not sure what they are, but what they are is they're that black and square arranged inside of a white background that can be scanned, and it's going to take you to a digital asset. If you're still not sure about what they look like, go to the website. I'll put an image of what they are in the show notes so you can see them. And so why I'm excited is that now and for the last couple of years, we'll say it that way, is that I feel like this marketing tactic is finally ready for prime time usage, not only with the big companies, but for a company at any level, shape, or size. So I'm going to geek out here a little bit, and I'm going to talk to you about the history of QR codes, because like I said, I've been watching this one for a very, very, very long time. QR codes were invented in 1994. And as of this broadcast, it is 2021. So you can imagine, how long these have been out here. And originally, they weren't a marketing tactic at all. They were actually designed to replace barcodes on products because they were easier to scan. They still are. And they could store more information from a digital perspective. More information can be carried along with the product, which is great for purchasers and manufacturers. But it wasn't really designed to be a marketing tactic. It didn't become relevant in marketing until 2011. That's when smartphones hit the market and you had app development. And so they created apps for QR codes. They're called QR code readers, but adoption was low because if you saw a QR code and you didn't happen to have a reader on your phone, you had to download it, figure out how to use it, all those things. So adoption of the QR codes was really, really low because such a small percentage of the population knew what they were or what to do with them. Well, that all changed in 2017, and that is when Apple, they did it first, added the QR code reader native to the camera on the iPhones. And then all the other smartphone creators followed suit after that. And so now all you have to do since 2017 was open your camera phone, point it at a QR code, and then it would just pop up whatever you needed to do next. So it made it easy. They're very easy to scan. If anybody's ever tried to scan a barcode with their phone, because stores use that, the supermarkets will do that, and they're very difficult. You got to make sure they're positioned correctly, and hopefully they work. Sometimes they don't. The QR codes are so much easier. And so now that all of that's happened and we fast forwarded to 2021, people are starting to see them more because your bigger retailers and product developers are starting to put them on things. we as consumers now know what they are and know what to do with them. And then we're adding really good language near them, like scan me. And that's why they're ready for prime time now. So what's the big deal? Why is this important? Audrey, why are you so excited about the little black and white square? So my background, I have done print marketing, I've done digital marketing, and one of the conundrums that we've always had is, how do you bridge the gap between print and digital? How do you make it easy to go from one to the other? The answer now, and what I've been waiting for, is QR codes. They are the bridge between print and physical marketing and digital. And it makes it so much easier to go from one to the other. So you don't need to have any more written instructions when you create a postcard saying, go to our website at this address, and hope that the person puts it in correctly. Or a lot of times you would try to figure out how many people actually utilize the postcard. So you would use a specific URL that says web address /promotion1 or some weird arbitrary code. And you hope that they typed it in, but sometimes they wouldn't, and then they'd get lost. You have much more likely a chance of compliance when all they have to do is point their camera at something to take them exactly where you wanted them to go. The second reason, and I think this is more so for me than it is for others, but business owners should really find this important too, is it's much more accurate and easier to track print and physical material now with a QR code for the same reason. If they take that promo code off the end, then you don't know that they actually got it from the postcard, because it's just going to show up as a regular web visit. Versus if you're scanning a code, you can see exactly how many people scanned that code. You don't know who they are, but 15 people scanned this code, and versus maybe one person actually put a URL in correctly. So your data on measuring your marketing reports becomes so much better. And so some of the things that you get to avoid now with using QR codes, again, no more mistyping of those URLs or telephone numbers, no more time barriers. Some people will say, oh, well, let me do this when I get home. I don't have time to do it now. Whereas scanning a code is so much faster and easier. You can do it while you're walking to your car safely, making sure you know where traffic is. It can integrate with Google Analytics if you use the right type of code. No more short codes. We've seen that everywhere. These bit.ly codes, or they're URLs that look like something small and non-understandable. It's to shorten it so that you have a better chance of getting people to type things in correctly. And then you can use multiple URLs across different codes. So the bottom line is that you get better compliance rates with a call to action. Now, I want to put this in context. Sales, lead generation, it's all a numbers game. You've heard of the term sales funnel. That's where at the top of the funnel, you have your biggest pool of people. Let's say you have 100 people, you have 1,000 people, and you send out something like this mailer with a QR code on it. You have more of a chance to get more of that 100 or 1,000 people down the funnel when you make it as easy as possible for them to do what you're asking them to do, that call to action. The more they get to the bottom of the funnel, the more that are going to buy or purchase your product. So this is how a QR code is going to actually increase your sales. So without it, maybe you're getting a 2% compliance rate on a print or a physical medium. Whereas with it, you might get something closer to 5 or 7, and that equates to money. So now that you know why it's important to make things simpler and that QR codes make things simpler, where do you put them? So I'm going to talk to you about all the different places you can put them, but I'm going to first tell you about a couple of different examples of where we have used them with our clients. I've got a service-based example. I've got an e-commerce-based example, which would also work for brick and mortar stores. And then I have a B2B example. So the service-based example is we have a physical therapist's office that we do marketing for. And so they are small and local. People don't travel real far to get physical therapy if they need it. For this particular client, we knew who the audience was, and we found a local magazine, hyper-local magazine, that catered to the specific audience that we were trying to attract. So we put a full-color ad in the magazine, and in it, we talked about the business, what the services are, and then we offered a free gift to sign up for the newsletter with a QR code, so that all they had to do is scan the QR code to go to the landing page to get the gift to sign up for the newsletter. And so that's an example of how we bridge that gap for them. Newsletter signups in a service-based industry, especially like a physical therapist, is super important because not everybody needs it right away. And a lot of times when they sign up for a newsletter, it stays top of mind. Every 2 weeks, they can refer to a friend, hey, I know this physical therapist office. Maybe they're getting surgery in 6 months, and they can't remember who they saw 6 months ago. So again, staying top of mind in a service-based industry like this is very, very important. My e-commerce customer, he makes himself fishing gear and fishing equipment. And so what we did when we were creating his product packaging is we listed the website on the packaging, but then we also put a QR code on there as well. So to start with, when someone gets it, they can easily scan the product packaging if they need to get more of an item, or if they need to rebuy whatever it is that they have, or they want to buy a gift for one of their fishing buddies. It's super easy for them to get back to the website from that. And then into the future, we can run campaigns now that we have the spot available on the product packaging for a QR code. We can swap out the QR code and the messaging where maybe we want to do an offer, or maybe we want to do a contest, right? To get people to do something else, to sign up for the newsletter, get a coupon for referring a friend, 15% off. It gives us that flexibility to swap things out on the product packaging labels very, very simply. And then lastly, the B2B example is a local bank, right? Local banks that service the business community really want to not only provide them with lines of credits and accounts, but they want to feel like they're actually helping the businesses. So this bank that I'm working with has created a flyer so that when someone opens a new line of credit or they open a new business banking checking account, credit card, whatever, they get this folder. And inside the folder, there's a flyer that says, here are other services that you might need. A business attorney, a financial advisor, accountants, and then they list them who they're partnered with. So it's like a built-in referral. These are other businesses we know, like, and trust that we want to refer you to. And so in those listings, we're putting QR codes. And then each individual business gets to decide where they want that code to go. It could go to their website. It could go to their contact information. It could go to a telephone number for them to place a call. So that's a great way to individualize things, but then everything looks and stays standard on the handout. Looks simple, looks clean, looks easy. So I mentioned print and physical marketing materials, right? So what are those? And what can you put QR codes on? The short answer is just about anything you can print on. But I want to give you some of those examples. So letters and flyers. If you send out letters to certain folks, you can always put a QR code on that. If you're leaving flyers behind in a neighborhood, you can put QR codes on that. Postcards, mailers. Mailers are great. Not only do you put them on the letter inside, but maybe you put something on the outside of the envelope, because open rates for a lot of that mail is very small. So if you put a message on the outside, put a QR code on the outside. Magnets. If you're one of those business where fridge magnets are really great leave behind or a gift for you, make sure you put a QR code on there. Wouldn't it be great if you were a plumber and the QR code goes right to your telephone number? Because when someone needs you and you're a plumber, they really need you. And a lot of times they might be panicked because they have water all over the floor. So instead of having them to dial a phone number, that QR code could save them seconds, and especially if they're confused and in a panic. And then business cards. I've seen this probably more so than anything else, off and on, where they'll put a QR code on the back or the front of a business card. What they neglect to do is tell you what it's for, right? Call to action. Curious people may scan it, but if they knew what it was for and if it was something they wanted, they'd be more likely to scan it. So print ads, magazine ads, which I talked about, newspaper ads, non-for-profits, they sometimes get lots of good deals on running promotions in the newspaper. Add a QR code for whatever you're doing. If you're promoting an event, that's a fabulous thing to do. And if you happen to be one of the businesses that these placemat ads work for, you get a really small spot. Make sure you add a QR code, because that's going to save you on text space as well. Moving on, vehicles, right? If you spend the money to wrap your vehicle, you put your telephone number on there, you put your web address on there, put a QR code on there that goes somewhere. Maybe you offer rentals, the auto care industry, if they have your car for a day and you do a complimentary car that they can use while their car's in the shop, put some advertising on it. Make sure you got a QR code on there. And then promotional items. Everybody loves promotional items, especially if it's useful stuff. Like if you're in the construction industry, they have rulers. You can do box cutters that have your logo and information on there. Add a QR code. Shirts, mugs, hats, pens, writing tablets, all that stuff. Because you're personalizing it for print, you can put a card on there, a QR code on there. Product catalogs. Here's one that I don't see a lot, which I wish I would see more, especially for catalogs that I like to go through. These catalog companies all have their online stores, and the catalogs allow you to browse, right? So you can sit and look and see what you want to get, but then you're going to go online to buy, right? It just makes more sense. It's a lot easier than filling out a form. The thing is, then you've got to type in item numbers or go search for it. Wouldn't it be great if the catalog, every single product had a unique QR code you could scan and add it to your cart and then just go check out? So again, a different way to use these. Signs. So if you have a brick and mortar, if you have a building, if what you do is for the housing industry or at people's homes, they let you put the lawn signs out, put it on the side of a building. If you have interior office space, your retail space at checkout, or if you have a designated checkout line, put it while people are standing in line. Give them something to do while they're waiting to buy stuff, right? Get them to come back and be a reoccurring customer because maybe you're offering a coupon while they're standing in line, and you can make it cute because you know that that's where they're scanning. So you could create a little sign that says, sorry for the wait, here's 10% off. They scan it, they get the coupon. Maybe you get their email address to get the coupon too so that you have them for future mailers. Event badges at trade shows. We've seen that a lot where they have these sophisticated systems with scanners, but QR codes would work just as brilliantly. Plus, if you're going to be offering something in your booth, instead of having them fill out a form, have them scan a QR code, fill out the information. You're listening to Marketing Strategies. Today, we're talking about QR codes and how that little black squiggly box can help you get more sales for your business. So I'm sure there's more stuff that I haven't even thought about. This is just what I came up in 15 minutes of really thinking about it, of what you can put a QR code on. But now I want to talk to you a little bit about where that code goes, what your call to action is. A lot of times, all you see they take the time to put the QR code on there, but then they don't think through what to offer, what to do with it. And this is where the rubber meets the road with this one, is being inventive about where it is you're taking them, because you can take them anywhere. So certainly you can take them to the homepage of your website, which is where a lot of these go. But even if you only want to do a URL, take them someplace specific. Sign up for an offer. Read a specific piece of content. Don't do all that work to get them to finally scan, and all you do is take them to your homepage. It's really defeating the purpose, right? Because the more you make them work, the less likely they are to do what you want to do. So make it as simple as possible for them. Phone numbers. Like I talked about in the example of the plumber, your code can actually go ahead and just auto dial a telephone number. PDF files for downloads. So if you have a lead generation that you're giving away, let's say in the example of the trade show booth, instead of having physical copies there to hand to people, and then not even knowing the name of the person you're handing it to, because it's supposed to strike up a conversation, give them something to scan, takes them to a landing page, they put in their name and their email address, and then it gives them the document automatically. And then now with all these e-readers, all of them will read a PDF document. So then they have a digital copy of it, less likely to get tossed, less likely to get lost. So that's a good way of doing it. Plus, if it's something that you mail, you can give away something via the mail as well as just digital. Calendar events. Let's say you're having an event and you don't need people to pre-register for the event, but you want to make sure as many people show up as possible. You can have a QR code that automatically takes the event and puts it on their calendar. Similar to what happens when you sign up for a webinar, and then you click the register button and then they download that ICS file that automatically updates your calendar. It can be done the exact same way. And again, this will get more people to sign up for what you want them to do. You can use it for the registration as well, but if you're bypassing registration, and then you can also use it for ticket purchasing. Coupons. If you want to give people coupons, you can directly link to those. Another good one is survey forms, right? Instead of sending something out and saying, go to this URL to fill out our survey to win a $5 gift card or get a free shopping spree, why not put a QR code there instead? Because they're more likely to do it because it's digital and it's easier. I see this a lot on register receipts now. So when you go to a store, they say, take this short survey. They really want your feedback because they want to make things better, but they are also offering to give you something. They give you a URL to go to, and you may do it when you get home. You may forget to do it. But if it's just a QR code that has to be scanned, the person with them can scan it, take the survey while you're driving home with your products. You can ask for Google ratings or testimonials with a QR code. So instead of saying, hey, rate us on Google versus, scan this and give us a rating, you drop them right into the rating system. They write it and they go versus having to go and try and find out where to go to give a rating. It's very similar to if you send someone an email asking for a testimonial with direct links to your Facebook or your Google page. You can send emails. You can send text messages through QR codes. Virtual business cards. You can share your contact information. And you can do newsletter signups, which I talked about before. You can do contest signups. And you can also link to videos. So if you're sending out a postcard and you want people to watch your explainer video, right, you can put that link to the YouTube video into the QR code and actually get people to watch your video based off of what you sent to them in the mail. The other thing that is very common is to send abandoned shopping cart postcards out to people. You can actually send deep links directly back to their shopping cart through that as well. So I'm sure there's a ton of things you could probably think of specific to your business that this would work for, but this is just a couple of ideas. So now that I've got you all excited and you're ready to use QR codes, the one question I get right after I get people excited is, that's great, that's awesome, I don't know how to do this. Well, and that's okay, because here's the bottom line. If you can copy and paste a link, then you can create a QR code. It is really, really easy. So there are free and free forever type of QR codes that you can use. They're the more simplistic, basic, one-time use ones. A little bit of customization, not too much. But then you can get the paid ones where they can be put in your brand colors. You can use different styles. They have what are called dynamic QR codes where, let's say you put a link into a code and then you put that code on a postcard. And let's say you want to change the link. You can change the link without reprinting the postcard or changing the QR code on the postcard. So you can still use up your inventory, which would be awesome and great for people that have reoccurring events every year, where they don't want to have to change the date on all their print materials or their signage. They won't have to change their QR code if they pay for it. And the paid ones are not expensive. They're the subscriptions to the top sites are somewhere between $5 and $6 a month, and you get a lot of support. That's where you also get your tracking. So you generate a code. And then you can go back to the website and see how many people have scanned it and any additional information you need. And then you can also pull and port that information into your Google Analytics report and see it overall with the rest of your website and your digital advertising reporting and anything that you're doing from an email perspective. So you if you have a dashboard that has all of your marketing mix in it, you can also include your QR code data into that marketing mix. So how do you do it? So it's pretty simple. Step one is go and find one of the online generator tools. Just Google QR code generation. The free stuff will pop up first. The paid will pop up afterwards. Whichever one you pick, they'll probably offer both. There's no obligation to use the free one. You don't even have to register. Select the type of QR code you want to create. add the link of the destination, and then download the image file. It's going to be a PNG file, which is, you've got JPEGs and you've got PNGs, and the PNGs just have a different quality level. And then you take that image file and either, if you're creating the material yourself, place it where you want on the piece, just like you would any other image or your logo file. If you're having someone design it for you, send it to them. They'll place it there. If you're having promotional products created, they'll ask you for your logo. Just send this along with it and say, hey, here's something I want included in the area as well. And because it's black and white, 99% of the time, there's no issue with it being put on any promotional product. A lot of those are like one color. It'll all work. And then if you are using a designer for it, or if you have an agency, you can just simply ask them, create a QR code to put on whatever you're creating at that time, and then they will take care of it. They'll ask you where it's supposed to go. You'll brainstorm about that. And then you can just talk about positioning and what to do with it. So now is the time for you to take some action. You've gotten some really great information here. Hopefully you like it. But it's useless unless you do something with it. So the first thing I want you to do is think about a current campaign or an up-and-coming campaign or event that you're wanting to promote. Is there any in-person or physical print piece component to it? If it's an existing campaign, that's great because you can modify it, add the QR code, and then you're going to get data on how it worked before the QR code and how it worked after. But if it's brand new, add the QR code and think about what you want your call to action to be. That's going to help you determine what the QR code is going to ask them to do. So if you want them to go to a specific website, make sure it's very, very specific. Don't just take the time and just throw them to the homepage. You may need to create a landing page. Maybe you want them to call, right? Call us to get an estimate. Have the QR code go to a telephone number, or listen to this again and see what other things you might want to do with it. So here at Inkyma, we like to give back to the business community. I provide a free 45-minute marketing consultation to any business owner, regardless if you're looking to hire an agency or you're looking to get some information so you can do some things yourself. Maybe you want to just talk a little bit more, brainstorm about what you could put in a QR code or what you could put on it. That is perfectly fine. We talk about what you want to talk about in those 45 minutes. Just go to my website, Inkyma.com. That's INKYMA.com, and click on a schedule a marketing evaluation button, pick your time, and then you're on my calendar. Maybe you just have a question that you just need a quick answer to. Scroll down to the contact form, fill out the information, and put your question in there. Maybe you have a question about what you heard on a previous podcast episode. You can certainly submit that. Not only will I answer your question, but I'll probably answer it on the show as well so that others get the benefits of the answers that I gave to you. So that's it for this week. If you found this information useful, helpful, consider sharing it with other business owners that you know. I created this show to help business owners be successful, grow their business in whatever form that they need to do it. So whether it's working with an agency, doing it themselves, information, education is the key. So by you sharing this, you're actually helping other business owners grow their business, and then we're all helping the entire business community grow. Think about that. Give us a share. Ask other people to follow. And I will talk to you next week. And have an amazing day.
Thanks for listening to Marketing Strategies, sponsored by Inkyma. Online at INKYMA.com. Listen to Marketing Strategies every Saturday at 7:30 on KPPF.